right back in. It looks like the teams are ready to take us to fun time. So,
All
Hoku and
right.
I are here. So, again, guys, we are going to Infernal Shrines. This map pick was the pick of Can't Connect Stuns, which mean Boomer Gaming will get first pick in the draft. Both teams are ready. We're jumping into the draft. Let's see what these teams bring us. Hoku. What do you think is going to be at the top of the bands list? Obviously, these teams do their homework, but is there anything you think absolutely has to be removed when you're playing Infernal Shrines?
Well, Hogger. Um, and you'll probably see Luke Mockery's Tracer band at some point as well.
He
The
also's got a really
Lucio
strong
was.
Hanzo.
He does play a good Hanzo. We might see a Sylvanas band. Lucio was clearly targeted at Shredded Wind, who is unbelievably annoying on that hero.
I've been told that his name is actually pronounced most consistent player on the team.
Oh, right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll get that right
We'll see.
eventually.
We'll see the Joe ban as well. So they want to take away one of the strongest tanks, and it is one of the tanks that's best at kind of breaking up what other teams want to do because she isn't affected by so much. So it's easy to kind of force teams to pick a tank you kind of have to build around than Joe, which fits is just plug and play in almost anything. There's the Mockery Tracer, just like you called it.
Yep. I don't think I've ever seen that poor man get to play his favorite hero in organized play. And we might see the Hogger ban. If not, I expect to see Hogger picked early.
Yeah, very strong on this map, as Dahaka can be as well. So we will see what is a priority here for CCS to take off the table. And they're going to remove Junkrat.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. Junkrat is also pain and suffering.
He is now a
especially
hero
on this map.
that hasn't been banned and can be quite a pain on this map is the Stukov. I wonder if either of these healer players prioritize that particular pain in the keister.
And there's Blaze. Very reliable, very strong hero. Excellent on this map. I tend to pick him a lot on this map if he's not banned out.
I have casted way too
I
much.
don't think you'll see Stukov played or banned at this level, just because a healer with a cleanse is often so necessary.
So Tychus Diablo come in. Now I have casted way too much of BoomerGaming today. I already did 2 series of theirs, and Chronicler's Blaze is one to be feared for sure. Now Diablo is strong on this map. Lots of walls and wall segments for him to bonk people into, and picking Tychus with Diablo means he can't be picked away from them. Also, just a really strong overall hero. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a wave clear mage to be paired with the Tychus, but now we see the Anduin and the Sergeant Hammer come out. And I believe I've seen BoomerGaming play this exact setup before. Now, I don't recall what they paired with it, but they played this in one of the casts earlier today. They did play this Hammer Blaze Anduin setup.
Sure. Well, the other nice thing about the Tychus Diablo is it's very good for an isolation. If Diablo does get his paws on someone, Tychus could be right there to blow it up.
Now, I think they had Diablo with it, which means they're not going to get quite as much peel for the hammer. The Tyrael is going to come out, and that is an interesting pick. Worried about the speed and shields for the hammer as well as the Sanct.
Yep. That is definitely a protect hammer hero. Good to take off the map, as well as the Joe.
Although, I wonder what other things they might have in mind. Again, I don't really recall them going for direct hammer protect, more just annoying things. I think there was a Urel, and then, yeah, a peel tank. So.
It could be a Muradin. Muradin can peel for hammer very well.
Leo does get taken off the board, and he can be very annoying for a Blaze to deal with if picked well. Plus, he's extremely good at both clearing the shrines and double wave clear. So, just a smart pick off the board. So we still have Healer, Offlane, and Flex. Usually Mocker gets last pick because he is Flex for this team.
There's Dahaka and Brightwing.
The double global, which can be very, very powerful on this map. Plus, Brightwing plus Dahaka or Diablo can often do some kind of interesting things in terms of controlling the team. If you if you shadow charge with Diablo, then have a Brightwing teleport on you and Emerald Wind, you really isolate a target.
There's the Murden.
And there's the double dwarves and a duck. So we've got Ife's Falstad and Calavoth's Murden, and I think that Falstad is a direct response to the double globals on the enemy team.
Yeah, could be. Could very well be. Also, Falstad is good at helping keep people off the hammer. You don't really want to run into a Falstad if you can avoid it. And he does have Gust as a last-minute peel. And we get a Tassadar.
We often see the Tassadar go with the Tychus. They have a good combination of quick damage and wave clear. Plus, Tassadar Wall gives Diablo a place to smash people anywhere. And with Diablo Wall Smash with Dahaka Tongue, you can often isolate targets and blow them away. But this is our draft for game number 1. Let's see what these teams bring us between Can't Connect Stuns and BoomerGaming. So as we load in, hey Fathom 2, cheering for Red Team.
So looking at these drafts, I think the biggest hope for Can't Connect Stuns will be to get a Murden kill. To have Diablo pick him up, Task Walls to slow him down and block him, Polymorph to keep him from leaping out, and the Tychus to just explode him. If they can't get the kill on the Murden, I don't see any way they get to the hammer.
But here we are. These are our teams. I'm going to announce blue, and we'll let you announce the red team. Sound good, Hoku?
Sounds good to me.
In the blue, we have Can't Connect Stuns. Arik is on the Tychus. We've got Shredded Wind playing the Dahaka and not the Brightwing. We've got Slickrub on the Brightwing. Brainer is on Diablo, and Mockery has brought the Tassadar. What are we seeing on the red team, Hoku?
On that side, we've got Ifeed playing the Falstad, Chronicler on the Blaze, Dope Monster on Sergeant Hammer, Begatron on the Anduin, and Calavoth on the Murden. It looks like we're going for a top lane cheese with a hammer here.
And now this Murden has 3 hammers, the 2 in his hands and his hero. Not a quick response here from CCS as they just decide to push the mid lane, see if they can get equal value somewhere else, which makes sense. There's so many characters protecting the hammer here. Chronicler does go for the jet propulsion onto Brainer, who just simply realizes that's how things are going to be. Now, until she hits 7, Hammer's siege ability is one that is fraught with a little bit of danger because she doesn't move away as well. But with good peel and an Anduin to yank her away, she should be totally safe.
Yeah, they've already got half of that top tower down there. And very little done elsewhere on the map. So
Shredded Wind
yeah,
and
like
Raider will be sent to... Sorry, I
it's
cut
tough
you off
to keep your hammer off your building.
She does like to stick like gooey gravy. Alright, both teams going for their Cosra camps early on here. Brainer looking to do the scout out with the Fire Stomp here, and we'll look at level 1 talents while we're at it. So Hammer's been left in the top lane. We have enhanced agility for Dahaka, making him a zoom race car build. We do have Devil's Due for the Diablo, not one we frequently see. Brainer having his own build for Diablo here. We've got Hyper Shift on the Brightwing, Psi Infusion for the Tassadar, and Press the Advantage, so another unusual one that we often see, or usually see, quarterback on Tychus. It sounds like some of these interesting picks have piqued your curiosity too, Hoku.
Yeah. So mid is pushing pretty hard. Hammer and Dahak are still playing footsie in the top lane.
They do get the neutral Khazar camp, though, which does allow them to get a little more experience and forces a response from the red team. And that's one of the inflexibilities that Falstad helps with on a Protect the Hammer comp, is you just don't want to have Hammer split off too often on her own. You usually want 3 or 4 people with her. Now, Falstad and Blaze can kind of help them do a 1-3-1, but the more people around Hammer, the better, usually. So splitting them up can make the team a little inflexible.
Well, it is early in the game. They are just trying to make levels at this point. They're probably not worried too much about the hammer getting siege in as they are at getting to level 7 before that first objective spawn.
It is coming up in 8 seconds, and it's going to be a Mortar Shrine. Now, for their team, we do have Frequent Flyer, the auto-attack talent that stacks for the Falstad, who is still down low, but this is a 3v4.
There they go. They're focusing the burden.
They're putting damage onto
Unfortunately,
Calavoso.
they don't have Titus here at the moment.
And they did not go the Shockwave with Tassadar, meaning they don't do quite as much damage as they might be able to do later. Chronicler's taking a lot of damage. The Tychus trait is burning away. Even with the Pyromania, the armor does not help with percent health damage. Here comes the Fly, though, from Ifeed, who will come up and will push away CCS for the time being. We have Adrenaline Stim Pack for Blaze, which is important here in the off lane. The Advanced Artillery, this is a standard. We see Regenerative Biosteel as opposed to the Unstoppable at 4. So it is going to be entirely up to Anduin to keep this hammer safe. We're seeing a big fight. They're putting a ton of damage onto Kellevo. The flip, they have to pull Chronicler away, but Dope Monster's getting incredibly low. They're not quite able to get her. She has about 200 health remaining. She does manage to get back and tap. We see that Dahaka has come up as well, and Ifeed. So both of the globals will leave for the time being as 7s come in on both teams. Just to finish the level 1s, we also have Power Word, Shield on Anduin, and Dwarf Block, giving a little protection. But again, Block doesn't help against the trait percent health damage from the Tychus, and he is burning away this tanky front line of BoomerGaming.
Yep, like I said, that was kind of their best play, was to try to force the Murden out or dead.
Now, Chromie wasn't bad, and I did think Chromie was a pretty strong hero, both into Hammer and for Mockery, so I'm a little surprised it was the Tassadar instead, but he's picking what he wants to play, what he's most comfortable on, obviously, and this is what they're going with, and he is putting plenty of damage onto Dope Monster. Shardwin will dig in, gets the grab on the Anduin. They want to finish him off. There's a huge stun, and the wall comes out. That is the end of Anduin. Ifeed will fly up, but it's too late for his, the son of Varian, who gets blown up with great CC and a fantastic dig in and tongue by Shredded Wind.
First blood.
It will be. Now, Calavo's taking a lot of damage just from Mockery. Tychus isn't even here. Out comes the grenade. Oh, the auto's almost going to, but the wall is going to mean Chronicler dies, even with the Pyromania. And the very first, it looks like, at least at the moment, the very first shrine will go over to Can't Connect Stuns as they do some tremendous fighting. And Brainer's Diablo, although the Devil's Due is a bit of an unusual pick, it's looking really good so far.
Well, he doesn't really need the Spell Shield. It's an AA build Falstad. And the Q build can be a little tricky into a hammer because you can push him back. And you don't necessarily want to be putting yourself into hammer's range all that often.
So Tens are now here out early. Sorry to interrupt you. Tens are out early. We do see the Commandeer Odin. Now they're going to siege up hard onto this. Now, a Mortar Punisher is very nice to see for a hammer because it means she's not getting rooted in place by the Frozen Punisher. But we do see Isolation, Lightning Breath, Blink Heal, Archon, and Commandeer Odin. And they're going to use this advantage to try to get some kills and take this. No, they can't get this. And Tens will come online right now for the members of BoomerGaming. But sorry, go ahead. What were you saying, Hoku?
I was going to say, that's still very good damage for an early Punisher. First Punisher usually just gets the wall, but in this case they did get quite a bit of the fort as well. Uh-oh.
A really good gust comes out from Ifeed, and they managed to get Mockery's Tassadar. They get Brainer as well, but he had full soul, so he will be back in 5 seconds. And just a really smart fly up from Ifeed, not in vision, but into a hidden area, comes in. He only hits one person with the gust, but it was all they needed. Their wave clear gone. Now they're going to have to rely on Dahaka to double soak and the rest of their team to try and safely push back here. Now Brainer is looking for the flank on this Diablo, as Dope Monster just bops away. Now with no souls, this Diablo is taking a lot of damage, but does use the charge to get out of harm's way there, at least for the moment. The wall will come up from Tassadar, who's also back. Calavo wants to mount up and get away, and at the moment he will, as Diablo eats some spider mines. Shredded Wind losing a trade in the bottom. Doesn't die, but it's very, very low, and that will give Ifeed's Falstad a chance to clear a wave.
Falstad is very annoying to go into as a melee hero, I can attest.
Yeah, it's annoying for Leoric. So Dope Monster's been left top to clear the waves going into that top fort, which is down to about 10% of its overall HP as both teams look to take their Khazra camps. And one wonders if they're going to start going for their bruiser camps, which up to this point in the game have not yet been taken. So quick look at 10s for BoomerGaming. We've got Mighty Gust from Falstad, a Bunker Drop from Blaze, Napalm Strike as opposed to AFG, which is more of a siege tool than it is a team fight tool. We've got the Light Bomb from Anduin and the Avatar from Muradin, as it looks like it is going to be CCS looking to take the bottom camp. They do get it.
Yeah.
Brainer is taking a lot of damage. The shift is coming on. A big cleanse from Slick Rough means everybody's okay. The tongue is on the Chronicler. He's taking a ton of damage, and Lightning Breath comes up, but they blow away the Blaze. That is the end of Chronicler on the Fire Bat.
There was a really good hyper shift from the Brightwing in the middle of all that, keeping the Diablo nice and healthy.
Absolutely. A fantastic cleanse there, too, with the Light Bomb having come out just before that. And Shredded Wind has been money with tongue after tongue so far this game. Calavol's taking a ton of damage, is forced to Dwarf Toss out, chucks the Stormbolt, but they have to be careful. They're down their Blaze, and this means the Haka is free to push a wave into this top, and Falstad's going to have to respond to this, or they're going to lose their top fort. They're looking to stop location. They have priority positioning on this shrine. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher. Sorry, go ahead, Hoku.
I was going to say, I didn't think Falstad could stop it. Indeed, he couldn't. So now it's going to be just a patience game down on the bottom shrine here.
He did some good damage on a Shredded Wind, and it looks like the 4-man of CCS are willing to back up a bit. Eye-Feed flies in, does throw the Gust, and here comes the Light Bomb. They do get it, but it's Archon for Mockery, and Brightwing's doing everything she can to keep this Tassadar alive, but it is not enough as we get the kill from the Sergeant Hammer. Brainer's taking a good chunk of damage. He's almost full souls again, and this fight is so split out. They're doing everything they can to protect the Hammer, letting her take these, and they're up to 36 minions already. They're going to get this Mortar Punisher, or sorry, this Arcane Punisher. There's the route onto Tychus. Needs to sidestep the Stormbolt, but no Stormbolt comes out. Brainer wants to bait this over the edge here, but Dope Monster is just going to get to fire away here. A good burrow from Shredded Wind will keep him safe for the time being. And there's a huge wave forming top, so that's where Blaze has headed. As this team, Calabolt needs to be pulled up, takes a ton of damage, but this Punisher is going down fast to the Lightning Breath. Shredded Wind does get jumped on again, and Dope Monster is just looking to put more damage on the fort for the time being. Shredded Wind gets a good heal there.
Yeah, I think they are going to get that. I don't think they can get the hammer off in time. Oh, maybe
I think maybe the Arcane Lasers get it, and it is. So close, but it is down, and they also have so much damage on this top fort. Eye-Feed and Chronicler looking to get 2 forts for the price of 1 here, as Calavoth is being chased. He does get hit by the drag. Shredded Wind has been money. Here comes the Avatar, but it's not enough, and Calavoth is killed by the 5-man of Can't Connect stuns, and this tongue into wall bang from Diablo has been disgusting, and Avatar Muradin can't survive it.
Yep. So Hammer comes up to try to see what she can do about this camp, but that's more just kind of a scouting game one.
So they do clear this Causer camp, but again, at this point, it's just experience stealing. 16s are hit first by CCS, and you wouldn't know that they're a fair ways behind in the standings than BoomerGaming. And this, again, this is a composition that BoomerGaming is fairly comfortable with. They've played this earlier in the season, the Hammer comp on Infernal Shrines. So CCS is really bringing their best game, and Shredded Wind is looking, the most consistent player on the team is looking fantastic on that Dahaka.
We also have sizzling attacks now on the Tychus, so it is going to be very dangerous for the bird. Oh, the jump is interrupted.
A great pull there comes out from E-Bagatron, but the Lightning Breath is going to do tons of damage to Chronicler, who has to pop the Pyromania just to walk out alive.
Yeah, the sizzling attacks is now going to be doing a number on both the Murden and the Blaze, so it's going to be a little tougher for them to step up.
I actually think he popped the Adrenaline Impact for the movement speed, sorry. I didn't see the fire from Pyromania.
Yep.
Well, once again, we have our globals on different ends of the map. We're going to see a rotate here from CCS. Even though Can't Connect stuns is only 1 more syllable, CCS just somehow feels shorter to say than Can't Connect stuns. Shredded Wind does come down. Calavo seems he does get rooted, so he uses that burrow to get away from the incoming damage. Spider Mines will come and give Diablo a little tickle on his demonic feetsies. They do get the
that
wall. There's a
hammer.
Simon.
Oh, good pull.
Oh, by Bagatron.
So we do have the double pull from the Anduin, so he should be able to save multiple people in the fight.
Now, he has used 2 of them within fairly close order, so I don't know when his next cooldown for it will be up or if it's up now because of the time in between. But the Diablo charges and the shredded wind tongues have been dangerous enough that he might be running low on them. Shrine is coming up at 12.
Diablo's in a little bit of a tough spot here. He's got to be careful.
This is going to be a frozen
They choose
shrine.
to turn on him. I don't think he lives.
They're going to try and have this top lane bruiser camp pushing.
All right, so here we go. This is kind of a big objective. Both teams still have middle forts. Oh,
Big stun on Dope Monster, but nobody close enough to
Here
follow
comes-
up. Here comes a
looking
lightning
for
breath, and there's
Gus.
so
Oh,
much damage, and they
big
do
tap.
kill the hammer. The Protect the Hammer comp has failed. Everyone get out. Everyone get out. Protect the Hammer has failed. Repeat. The Iron Eagle has left the building. Everyone just leave.
so I think what happened there is the Falstad was coming in from the south end to try to get a gust in, and the Dahaka Shredded Wind, our probably most consistent player, once again had a picture-perfect tongue to stop the Falstad and get that kill. So the Hammer was trying to line up for a gust play that did not happen.
Well,
And
and
they
just
ended up losing 2 players and the objective.
And again, with them getting both of those pulls out, Andon was throwing heals like crazy at the Hammer, but had no way to pull her to a different angle or different position. Using the wall and the Diablo charge to force those out before the shrine was excellent resource usage. By using basic skills to take those long cooldown abilities, they've gotten themselves a Frozen Punisher, and they are going to hit 20 by the time this crashes into the Keep Gate.
Yeah, Frozen Punisher's huge because it's basically Sylvanas.
Yeah, it's doing excellent work. Brainer making sure they don't get caught on the side. Now, popping Odin before 20, unless he's not going with the... he does go Big Red Button. The Gust will give them a little bit of time as the Punisher leaps over. But again, all their buildings are frozen. It's not providing any value. We see Contagion, Hellstorm, so Lightning Breath lasting longer as opposed to Hellgate. Invisible Friends, Forest
Interesting.
Burner, and we do see the big red button. This keep is going down fast, and it's going to continue taking. Now, Brainer's taking a lot of damage. He's stunned. He gets blown up. The keep will go down, but now they're forced to flee. Now, the Forest Barrier does give them that chance to get away, and Diablo is once again back up instantly, or within 5 seconds, because of that. This is very greedy. CCS could...
I don't like this at all.
They do hit. Now, they are still 20, and their opponents aren't, and Diablo is coming in. Shredded Wind finally misses a tongue, and Calavoth breathes a sigh of relief.
Okay, I guess it was fine because they saw Falstad was in the top lane, although he could fly in. He did not have Gust, so
Well, and
that's
Diablo
probably
managed
why
to,
they felt like it was
to be
safe.
back in within about 5 seconds of us seeing and saying that, so that helped too. They knew their tank would be there shortly. But yeah,
Yeah.
with Mockery being up here where he was and Calavoth coming around, that could have been very messy.
Yep. But they did get it. It looks like they will get the bottom fort for free.
They do, and I
Dahaka's
just
top dealing
noticed
with that push.
this Tychus did not go Master Assassin. He went in the rhythm. So he's got 154 stacks on that minigun to burn away at the Blaze and at the Muradin.
That's definitely a front-to-back style play that they're playing, which has been working.
Yeah, when you've got Dahaka and Diablo on your team, and Tychus is there to burn them down, it really doesn't matter who you grab. You can grab the Muradin, you can grab the Blaze, and they're gonna die fast. If you grab the false side of the Hammer, they're gonna die fast too. Tychus's minigun does percentage north.
We have a little bit of
We've got a bait
are we go Yep, a little bit of a bait.
Here comes the Unstoppable. The light bomb comes out, but it's not going to hit anything because it hits the wind tunnel does come out, and Diablo is going to die. And this time he doesn't have souls. The bunker does come down. They do get this, but it was a bait.
Yeah.
Slick Rub is taking so much damage, but in the choke point, now we're seeing a lot of damage come out. Now Mockery goes into his Archon form.
Yep. They that was a really good bunker. There was 2 heroes very close to dying, and the bunker probably saved them.
Now these long fights are going to benefit the Hammer because she did take Ultra Capacitors. 10% attack speed for 5 seconds, up to 60%. which means these big AoE autos are going off bam, 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 once she stacks 6 times. We do have Wind Tunnel, we have Censure from Anduin, and a Rewind from the Murden. Blaze has yet to choose his, and we usually see either Fortified Bunker or the auto. Now Eric is getting chased down by the mounted ones. And Calibur goes for the W. He sidesteps the Stormbolt, and oh, there is the isolation. They're looking to put damage onto this tank, and they do. Now, the Light Bomb is on Chronicler. He tries to hit 3. He does only hit the 2 because of Shredded Wind's Burrow, but Eric is taking a lot of damage still. Invisible Friends comes out. They're trying to save the Eric. They're trying to save him, but Rewind comes out. Slick Rub, is he going to die? He goes down. Now, the tank is back, but they've lost their healer, and the, oh no, the Brainer accidentally body blocks the Dahaka, and they go down. A great pull there will keep Dope Master, and they've baited them back in. There is the stun, and Falstad is just clearing waves. He is going to fly in, not able to find any particular value here. The Shrine is active, and it does seem like they're going to peel away. No, they're just going to send Blaze, and they're going to siege up with this Hammer Falstad.
Yeah, with 2 people dead, it's perfectly safe for them to siege. Blaze can easily solo that. That is not a problem for Blaze, especially with the build that he's on. He did go Burn Notice at 20, which is a little unusual, but I guess when you're this, confident in your team and in the map presence,
well, the 5%
he
slow
really
can be quite something.
He hasn't really haven't had to use his bunker all that often. I think I've seen it,
well, at higher levels, when you're
times.
using the thermal protection, which gives you more opportunities to.
Oh,
there is.
there we go. Oh, that gust was used defensively. So they're going to try to run at the objective. I don't think they're going to get there in time, though.
There is 32. Chronicler is there. Calibolt almost gets caught, but does manage to Dwarf Toss out.
I think they're just trying to get kills. So even if they do get the Punisher, they wouldn't be able to end with it. But it looks like the red team's going to just kind of relax a bit, let their heroics come back up. They do have...
Oh, that's so much damage, and once again, that's going to be the end of Brainer's Diablo. He only had 55 souls, and once again, CCS is going to have to back off. And one wonders if, I don't know, but I wonder if Brainer is a sub for them, because his position doesn't seem to quite fit what the rest of the team is doing. And so there seems like there's maybe a slight communication issue in what they're expecting from their tank right now. I mean, it's not something egregious or terrible, it just seems a little bit off.
It could be. So let's see if they can hang on here. It is a Mortar Punisher, which is probably the weakest of the Punishers, so there is that. Oops, that was mistimed a little bit.
There is going to be the jump. It's going to be into Haka, blown away. The attempted heal by Slicker means they'll get caught as well. Now, they do use the AoE cleanse to save themselves, but now it's 3 members and a Mortar Punisher, or versus a Mortar Punisher and 5. The bunker will go down. There is the jump onto Mockery. He's in his Archon form. Slicker with the big heal there. Slickrup just trying to sidestep all the crazy stuff that's going on right now. Does get killed. The Wind Tunnel will keep them in their base as they finish off the core. And game number 1 will go to BoomerGaming. No, I will say that's probably the least sharp I've seen them play today. Some really good play and some really, really good pressure from Can't Connect Stuns. And again, they don't look at all like a team that's, on the lower end of the standings. They looked crisp. They looked good. And just a few late game mistakes kept them from winning that.
Yeah, I think if they had kept Brainer a little closer in the pocket there and let the Dahaka come around on the flanker, get in the back line, that might have been good. But it was a very good game. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was way closer than I was expecting going into it. And I think they did play their comp very well for the first 3 quarters of the game. Going after the Murden and or Blaze, because once you get that front line down, it makes the back line all that much more vulnerable. Yeah. So, fun first game. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust in a second.
Yeah, the Diablo going down meant Shredded Wind didn't have an opportunity to kind of walk in and tongue somebody, which meant their kind of modified pick comp wasn't able to do what they wanted it to do. So it looks like game number 1 will go over to BoomerGaming, and we will see soon where we'll be going for game number 2.
Yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how they adjust. I expect that they will take first pick. Um, and I wouldn't mind seeing them go to a map where they can't, use that kind of pressure from a hammer so effectively. So maybe a two-lane map, um, where it's easier um, for them to not have to worry about all the lanes and be able to bring some pressure in. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. So
The big question is, are we going to see the same bans out of both teams?
also incredibly interesting to find out.
Yeah, I do think they still have to take away the Lucio and the Tracer. I think they're just too much potential there for some, very, very disruptive gameplay. Um, but it'll be interesting on the side of Can't Connect Stunts to see if they persist with the bans they had done previously.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going, the next map is up.
Going to the D Shire.
Okay. So for this one, they might have to change some of the priorities. So it does look like Can't Connect Stunts did take first pick. Um, but I don't know if you can afford to leave the Dahaka, the Falstad on the table. So I would expect that they might not get banned early, but they'll get picked very, very early this time.
Yeah, first pick goes over to CCS. BoomerGaming picks Dragonshire, and this is a map that is all about resource allocation. Can you be more efficient than your opponent? And so you start to see interesting characters. Globals are big. Things like Zeratul, if you can be efficient, can be incredibly powerful. So a lot of interesting possibilities on this map as well.
Yeah. I think you can let them know that we're ready.
I can give them the
Whoops.
caster R. There we go.
We lost a
Yeah, someone is.
we lost a slick rub.
Oh, that's the worst feeling. Um,
Not gonna go there. Not gonna go there. Not gonna go there. Not gonna go there.
but hopefully, we can get back to our slick rub and things will be normal afterward. What do you think CCS needs to do to be successful in game number 2, based on what they did in game number 1?
I'd say just have Brainer be a little more patient. I think he was trying to force some of those engages towards the late game that got him in trouble. Um, I know it's hard to be patient in the face of a hammer, but sometimes you kind of have to, not necessarily try to create an opportunity as much as, have multiple people create that opportunity. So to coordinate, the Dahaka with the Diablo, which they did so well on that one shrine fight.
Yeah, I think
So
he
I'd
was
like to say a little
surprised
patience.
how
There we go.
quickly they could burn him down, honestly. But Hammer will be
Yeah.
removed, and she can be played on this map as sort of a bot lane goalkeeper. So she does
Yep.
get removed, and Lucio, it looks like Shredded wins. Lucio has also been removed. In terms of our other team, in terms of Boomer Gaming, they made really good late game decisions. I think they weren't the cleanest in the early game. I think they're coming out. I think they underestimated their opponents. I think if they want to get the clean 2-0 domination, they've got to play a little more. They've got to take their opponents a little more seriously if they want to win this.
And there's the Hogger Band.
And the Hogger removed also. Very, very strong on this map, especially when you're fighting people into a U of walls. And there's Mockery's Tracer. Mockery will never be happy again, confirmed.
Yep.
So
let's see what we go with the first pick. I expect the Dahaka or the Bright Link here.
They did take the first pick. So what are they prioritizing in this kind of first 3 picks? What's the first thing that cannot go over to their opponents? And it is
And
the
it's the
Dahaka.
Haka. Yep.
Shredded Wind did look really good on that Dahaka last game. No reason for them not to pick him up again. This map, you don't always need your offlaner to double soak, but if they do want Dahaka to double soak with the extra bush between top and mid, it does give him a little extra movement speed and ability to do double soaking without necessarily falling behind something like a Leoric or a Malthael. We see two blondies picked over on the right hand side there. Johanna and Anduin get grabbed, both very strong. And last time it was the Johanna that was banned. So now Calivo's gonna get to show how good he is at playing D3 Crusaders.
Well, and there's also now the potential to have that light bomb falling sword combo.
Absolutely, or even a blessed shield into light bomb for an extra long stun. Both of those ultimates sound terrifying. We are going to see Mockery's Hanzo in game number 2, Hanzo, and Rhaegar is picked up by Slickrub. So a more aggressive. Oh my goodness, I can't think of words. But it looks like Slickrub is healing this game around. So Shredded Wind is on the Dahaka, and Slickrub is playing Rhaegar. More aggressive than the Brightwing, that's for sure. Also has the cleanse from level 1. Purge, it's called on Rhaegar.
And I will say the most consistent player's Dahaka was very strong on that first map, so I don't mind seeing it come back again.
Yeah. We will see the Muradin banned out as Calivoth must feel that Brainer's Jimmy Brainer, they must feel like his Muradin's pretty good, or they just don't like its matchup into Johanna. I will say the later the game gets, the scarier Muradin coming out of a bush can be, especially for a backliner. So never a bad ban, especially on a map where he can come out of literally nowhere.
Well, plus he has a good dive buddy in the Rhaegar, so.
Yeah, the final ban will come out. It is the Chromie, another great bot lane. And her ability for vision is very strong on the Tribush. I wonder if we see something else like the Lunara or like the Zagara that will give them some bot lane vision, or if they're just going to go with what they're comfortable with.
So iFeed is Greymane is definitely a comfort pick for him. He does play an awful lot of Greymane. Greymane is very strong on this. He can clear the camps. He can clear the Hanzo. So
Chronicler's URL has also looked good from the times that I've seen it. And it's a huge disruptor. And again, same thing as the Hogger. When you have a bunch of walls around, URL can be really scary. But we see Genji and Nubrak as the finals picks of this team. This is a team that wants to get kills. This is a very aggressive, engaging team. Now, they do have both of the Shimada brothers, and that will affect their wave clear.
yeah, I would say that the Overwatch advantage is definitely going over to the blue team here.
Good thing they didn't get that Lucio. So the final pick is coming up for Dope Monster. He seems to have a pretty wide hero pool from what I've seen in his picks. He is the flex pick, and he's bringing the Junkrat. Absolute. He's right when he says he's bringing the Mayhem. He is Mayhem incarnate when he is putting traps and bombs around these shrines.
So the nice thing about Junkrat is he can pretty much hold bottom control on his own. He can anchor bottom, while the Greymane goes around to look for kills, or to do camps, or to just get a little extra clear in the middle to kind of counteract the global presence of the Dahaka there.
This is... Hey, thanks for the follow, Slickrub. Appreciate it, man. Excuse me. Hey, Brainer with the follow as well. Appreciate that, too.
So going into game number 2, what do you think of these drafts so far?
Well, I often go with a concept I call the burden of execution. I think that we've got a simpler comp that knows exactly what it wants to do from our red team. I think that if Hanzo and Genji play perfectly, they can win any game, but the burden of execution is going to be on them. They're going to have to play better than their opponents to see a win on those characters, in my opinion. But let's introduce our teams. In the blue, we have Can't Connect Stuns. We have got Shredded Wind on the Dahaka. Eric is on the Genji. Mockery has brought Hanzo. We've got Slickrub on the Rhaegar, and Brainer is the Beetle, Anubarak.
And on the red team, for BoomerGaming, we have iFeed playing the Greymane, Chronicler on the Urel, Kalavoth on the Johanna this time, Dope Monster on the Junkrat, and E-Bagatron playing the Anduin.
Another big pull, and E-Bagatron's Anduin has looked fantastic.
So Line Bus calls that the lack of trust button.
Line bus is correct. That is a lack of trust button. Now they're still looking. Urella's gone top, but they're looking for the tongue. They grab eye feed on that Greymane. He's looking to leap his way out, but they're getting very aggressive. The Genji goes in and they get the kill. Looks to get additionally, but the dead Worgen just dissolves to nothing.
First blood over to the side of Can't Connect Stuns. That tongue again on Shredded Wind. Sorry, most consistent player is once again being very, very consistent. So interesting. We see the Wolf talent at level 1 for the Rhaegar. You don't see that very often.
In higher levels, I think there is a pause, which means we do have to go back to our best of 3 map. We'll see what we can find. It was a pause from Kelavoth, so I wonder if anyone has DC'd. Yes, iFeed has actually disconnected. The name is Greymane on the screen, so we will just wait for that reconnection.
All right.
Going back to what you were saying, what were you saying again?
The
viciousness. I feel like we do see it pretty frequently. Actually, sometimes we see the one where the Worgen form gets more armor, but viciousness is if you think you can keep up your W at all times. And it allows you... Sorry, go ahead.
I was talking about the Rhaegar. The Rhaegar wolf.
Yeah, Feral Heart. We normally see Totem here, but Feral Heart can be an option if you want to do more rotating on the map.
Well, the other nice thing is it does give him 15 armor. So if he does get booped in by a Junkrat or jumped on by a Greymane, he does have a little more protection there. But interesting. I rarely see that talent picked. As you said, normally it's Totem.
We also have the Agile Dismount from Genji, Redemption from the Mockery, so auto attack build this time, as opposed to the Scatter Arrow, which often performs well in tight spaces. Nerubian Armor, the spell armor for Nubrak, and once again, Zoom Race Car to Haka with the enhanced agility. We've got the Viciousness, we've got the Dauntless, so the physical armor, which makes your L much better in 1v1 trades. Flashlight build from Johanna, extra wound timers from the Junkrat, and Power Word Shield. Now, there is a very important thing that has to be discussed. They called so the song is 6 White Boomers, because Boomers is the name for a male kangaroo, yeah?
Okay.
And they picked Junkrat. Do you think that's a coincidence?
I couldn't begin to tell you. I just like the Greymane named iFeed. That to me is every single Greymane I've ever seen in Storm League ever.
And every Anduin is an E-Bagatron. Man, they're really consistent here. So it sounds like iFeed is going to have to restart his client. He's having bugs and is not able to reconnect to the game at the moment. So we'll have a few more minutes of vamping from our team. Hoku.
Yes.
How do you like Dahaka on this map in the sense that he's not really a duelist, so holding that top shrine can become a bit arduous?
So it kind of depends what your matchup is into. What Dahaka loses in dueling, he makes it for a map presence. So what he can do is, especially with the race car build, is waddle his way down, get a kill in the 4-man bottom, waddle his way back up top, and that way his 4-man can get the bottom fort down, can take the bottom camp, can hold the bottom point. So he's not as interested, if you will, in dueling for the top point, because now his bottom team can just march all the way to core, just by the fact that he can be anywhere on the map at any time. Yrel does not have bad wave clear or bad abilities, but she certainly isn't going to threaten counter siege on her own. She's not the greatest sieging. What makes her really good on this map is she can bounce back and forth on and off the point. So it's like, okay, I have to go on the point. Okay, I have to go wave clear. Okay, I have to go on the point. It's kind of like fighting a Rhaegar, except bouncier.
A Rexar? The bouncy
Yeah,
Rexar?
because like Rexar can control both the lane and the point, and Yrel can kind of do the same thing by just booping yourself back and forth across that wall there. So, but like I said, she doesn't have the greatest siege damage, so that gives Dahaka the flexibility to go down, do things in the 4-man, and then dig right back up to top.
So yeah, there's a different option. Now, one of the problems I think that CCS has that I hadn't really thought about. Yes, their wave clear's a little iffy. The oh, um,
Okay,
so
so
we're having some big issues here. Unfortunately, they're discussing if we need to do a game reset in the chat here. So we'll see what they decide to do there. I know as we can only talk to the observers, we can't actually get into the all chat, so they're gonna have to decide what they do and let us know. Um,
I mean, we can't tell them what to do, but for the folks watching, um, let me see here. I'm supposed to know these as a division moderator.
There is a rule about sub 2 minutes. If there isn't a kill, there can be a restart. I think Dope Monster. Now people can't see this, but I think Dope Monster's correct. Either agreement to restart game 2 or just call it a boomer loss and go third game, because it seems like the player playing Greymane iFeed is unable to reconnect to the game after restarting his client. He has not been able to get the rejoin game button.
Yep, I believe that is correct as well. I was just trying to see if I could find the actual section of
Now,
the rules that
Mockery has
covers
come
that.
up with an interesting point. He says he thinks the most fair thing to do is to call 2 boomer losses instant CCS win. I think that sounds fair, but terrible to
Well,
cast.
oh, totally fair. The other thing I've seen happen before
Okay.
is to finish out the game with a bot. So that is an option as well.
It sounds like both teams are open to restarting, so we should be able to go through a very fast draft and rejoin. But yes, it does look like, unfortunately, we are going to have to restart game 2. Hopefully this time, iFeed can hold on to his hit points until 2 minutes.
Okay, there we go.
These guys are so funny. The lobby. Hammer players don't go to heaven. Then I'll see you in hell, my good sir.
Okay. So I mean, that is fair. There wasn't a lot done in the first. I think they were only 1 minute into the game. There had been one kill, but I don't think that was necessarily game changing. It happened in the script, so it really wasn't that much XP. And um, yeah,
Oh, you
and it
didn't get
wasn't
invited
something
in.
where.
Let me invite you in.
Okay, there we go. I see the lobby now. Okay, while we're waiting for this game to get restarted, I'm going to mute myself for just 1 second, grab something. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Sorry for yet another delay, folks. Now, the teams did start earlier than they thought. They were going to start at 7 originally, then they had to push it to 8. We did manage to start around 7:30, but we are going to restart game number 2. Which is really unfortunate. Dead air. This is my favorite kind. But it does look like we're going to have everyone back in, and we will be able to absolutely rip through the draft, because it will be the exact same draft. And rule clarification according to Shred is that either you guys finish the game with an II forfeit. Yeah, they're just going to pick their heroes and we'll go straight into the game. So again, we won't show you guys this stuff because it's, well, let's be honest, it's boring. Oh, we do need to have... Oh, I'm readied up. We just need everyone to ready up and we will hop right back into this game. So they were asking if there was going to be an issue with the replay file, but it's no problem. Caster R. We are going to be started into game number 2 once again. And we might even reintroduce you to these guys in case you've somehow forgotten them in the last 30 seconds. So, whoever is DDoXing boomers, knock it off. So, on the blue side, we've got Shredded Wind on Dahaka, Brainer on Anubarak, Genji, played by Eric, Mockery is playing the Hanzo, and Rhaegar, played by Slickrub. And yes, these guys are hilarious. And on the red side, hopefully you remember, iFeed is playing Greymane, except for when ADCs. Urel is on being played by Chronicler. Calavoth is on Johanna. Dope Monster is on Junkrat. And E-Bagatron is playing Anduin. So again, these teams did not redraft. They simply went to normal pick in the custom game, picked the same heroes, and we launched immediately into the game. And of course, they immediately started teasing iFeed that he has to walk right into towers and die. And he is, in fact, immediately giving them the level 2 kill to make it so that they have this similar game state to game number 1. So that is why that has happened, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we call honor.
Yep. Okay, so let's get back into kind of where we were. We do see Junkrat anchoring bottom early, as expected.
We have all the same talent
And
picks.
our offlaners are going off to the top lane, as they should.
So, iFeed does get caught
going
again.
in deep.
Yes, Brainer is playing very aggressively this match. I don't recall seeing his name before, and I have casted CCS. I'm not sure if he's their ordinary tank or not, to be perfectly honest, or if I saw a sub before. Now, iFeed is going to be on the camp here, but Slickrub will jump in immediately. They do put the mine on it, meaning that even if CCS jumps on it, they can just get knocked away. Genji's trying to bait it out because he can safely climb back on, as Genji is looking to get as many stacks of autos as he can. The mine is still on there.
I think they have to leave.
They do have to. Shredded Wind is taking way too much damage here. In fact, Shredded Wind might die here. He gets caught by the Chastise. Chronicler is jumping on Slickrub. They do catch Shredded Wind, and he's dead. They're looking to catch Brainer as well. The Impale, though, will knock 2 up, and it looks like everyone will escape with their lives at the moment, but they are going to give up all pressure on the Shrines at the moment. No, there's a rotate to the Bruiser camp by Greymane and Anduin, meaning that they will actually give up the bottom Shrine and have Urel take the top Shrine, so it's even. And yeah, this is very interesting.
Well, I mean, the Bruiser camp in top lane gives Urel that kind of pressure and siege she wouldn't normally have on her own. So it does give her a little advantage. It looks like they're looking for a little bit of a Dahaka pick, too.
And even if they don't, they can put a lot of pressure here. I mean, Greymane is excellent at dealing damage to buildings, but again, they will give up all pressure in the lower side of the map as members of CCS go to take their own Bruiser camp here. And, yeah, one of the things that we see here, so we get the kind of the pseudo cleanse here from the Urel, which is one of the reasons she sometimes gets played with Ariel, because she can stop slows and roots, but she can't stop a stun.
Yep.
But yes, with this, they have managed to break this entire gate with just Urel and iFeed.
Well, they did have the help of the camp as well, so.
Absolutely. So in the bottom, Junkrat will be taking the Shrine of the Moon, and it looks like Calavoth wants to take this, but Genji will come through. Now, Shredded Wind...
What did you do?
Forced to use, and we're going to have another pause here, so we will once again bring you back to that best of 3. Apparently someone doesn't want to play Heroes of the Storm anymore, but it isn't... Wait. Chronicler's left mouse button is not working, so... Left skill issue. I love these guys. This is very funny. When do we get our pause as observers?
So, let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at some things, because we do have the level 4 talents online now. I do see Hero Stalker, which is fairly standard for Dahaka. He's got a couple of good level 4s. Um, without a doubt. Oh, we're back.
We are back into game number 2. Hanzo is taking the top shrine back for CCS. My voice is starting to feel that this is cast number 7 today, though.
There we go.
When do I get to pause to take a break there? It looks like Greyman's going to try and take this bottom camp, but that means both shrines do go over to the side of CCS, and they're looking to cap it here with no one to really stop them as Kalavoth was pushed back. Mockery will get the Dragon Knight, and once again, they have a lead early in the game, like they kind of did in game 1 as well.
All right, so let's see what they can do with this dragon. It looks like they're just going to go hard siege mid. They do have Rhaegar there. He is one of their better siege heroes. Genji is not known for his fantastic siege damage.
Well, thankfully Hanzo's in the Dragon, which has pretty good siege damage. Genji is clearing the bottom bruiser camp as it whacks away at that turret there. And Shredded Wind, the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Not reliable. The most consistent member of the team comes down in a bush to see if he's needed, but at the moment he is not, and he goes back to face Urel.
So they did get the entire front wall down, and now they're going to come and push a little bit down bottom as well.
Now, while this is going on, it's important to note that they are still equal in experience. Kalavoth coming in from the back as Mockery comes out. He goes to jump forward, but the Condemned catches him. Out comes the Mine, but Brainerd jumps in, is very low on mana. Isn't going to be able to get nearly as many of his crowd control skills off. And so both teams will simply disengage with a good chunk of damage to the bottom gate and the top and the mid gate completely gone. Top gate's also gone, whereas we have gate gone for that team, and the mid and bottom are back on. But they're going for crazy fights here. Urel jumps over the wall. The Mine is here. It looks like, yes, Boomer is able to take their own camp, and with that Mine knocking Nubrak into them, they kill him easily. Chronicler is taking a lot of damage. Arik and Mockery trying to get the damage in that they can. But without a frontliner, it's very difficult for the Shimada brothers to work together to kill someone without a lot of good CC to keep someone in their crosshairs. Mockery
the other
starts
issue
the camp.
is Anubarak, while a very good tank, is weak to auto attacks, and Greymane is all about the auto attacks. So now we see the tents come online for BoomerGaming.
We've got Cursed Bullet, Ardent Defender, Blessed Shield, Riptire, and the Light Bomb. And it does look like this is going to be stolen. The Light Bomb comes out. There's a double stun. The Slick Arm takes so much damage, and he is blown to pieces. And Brainer also gets incredibly... Eric jumped in on the backline, but now he's actually the target. Taking a lot of damage, managing to step away from these Junkrat Qs. But boy, oh boy, is he low. And the Burrow Charge is used just to keep Brainer safe. Shredded Wind is putting damage onto the Johanna, but nothing will really come of it. The two of these guys are basically just having a wet pool noodle fight.
Uh-oh.
High feed is coming up, though. The most consistent member of the team is still alive. So tens have come in on the other side. We have adaptability and not isolation this time. We have Cocoon for Anubarak, X-Strike for the Genji, Dragon's Arrow for Hanzo, and Ancestral Healing. And this is one place where these two brothers work very well together. Genji is going to jump in. They know that their opponents are on the different shrines, so they know they can invade and take this camp, and that's exactly what they do.
That was a well-timed invade. Here comes Shirel, but a little too late.
Oh, the Blessed Shield comes out before the drag can happen. There's a big stun, and the chest almost hits Shredded Wind, but a great burrow. Urel is Cocoon. Kalavoth is taking a lot of damage. The Riptire gets knocked down. The Dragon Arrow comes out, but it doesn't manage to catch too many people, and so that is all but two of the ultimates used and no one dead.
Yep. But they
I do
did get the camp. The camp did get a little tiny bit of damage on the fort. Little tiny bit of damage.
We're just swinging our big axes at this fort. We could do it, Jimmy. Uh-oh. Oh, no! I'm all alone! Ah! They're dead. Chronicler capturing the top shrine as Genji went to the bottom capture. And I do find in heroic, players are so aware of their character's limits that we often do see fights where no one dies. I mean, kills are 3 to 1, 8 minutes in. You watch a Div E game and it's probably 9 kills to 4 because they're just going ham.
They're still in the mid lane.
Yeah, Shredded Wind is coming in to help fight with the help of the Spell Armor, but he is all alone against 4. Chronicler tries to jump. That's a very good burrow, but it's not going to be enough. He pops adaptability, but now he's a dead ability.
Yep.
In return, with knowing 4 people are up top, the neutral bruiser camp is taken away by Can't Connect stuns as Greymane pushes in the top lane and wants to put some damage onto the wall and possibly the fort here. But CCS will siege in the bot lane with the 4 members they have. Riptire will come out to try to clear the wave and do damage to the spell armor minion. Calivolt and Chronicler looking to create space here. Poking away is Eric, still stacking up his Shuriken Mastery quest. Dahaka is in the top, trying to put some damage on iFeed, who, for all the strengths Greymane has, Sustain is not one of them. There is the drag. He's getting a ton of damage here, and iFeed might go down. No, it looks like he's going to get to safety. While in the bot lane, it looks like Johanna has been murdered by Mockery.
That was actually in the triangle there.
Okay.
We got caught out a little bit. And now we see another attempt at a camp, and Anubarak says, take some time and think about what you did wrong.
There's the cocoon onto Anduin, and he has thought about what he did wrong. I don't know what he learned. So I'm not in his head.
They still don't have a tank, so they should be able to get the shrine.
Slickrub does roam down to bottom, notices the trap is coming for him, but is wise enough not to step into the area. It'll keep coming, chattering after him. In the middle, they're looking to defend this. Getting a lot of damage on the Greymane. Ivy takes a ton of damage. A great pull down to Bagdon. He was at 40 health, but now Genji is stuck. He's been stunned. Out comes the Ancestral Blessing and Ancestral Healing, which does protect him as well as the X-Strike. Riptire comes out, does half of Mockery's health, and in the top, Yrel has reclaimed the Shrine of the Sun. So once again, nobody goes down, but that's almost every ultimate down, except for Curse Bullet and Ardent Defender, the shortest cooldown and the longest cooldown.
We saw that the trust issues, but get a lot of value there.
Excellently done there, and I wouldn't trust iFeed either. If he's not disconnecting, he's really struggling to stay alive into all this crowd control. There's the burrow charge out by Brainer. He's got a character with a Get Me Out Now button, and that's looking a lot better for him this time around with his particular brand of aggressiveness.
Yep.
Now, both teams seem content to let the other control one shrine at the moment. We'll see if that changes. As, yes, the Mockery is fully stacked on Redemption, and Genji is 1 Shuriken away from finishing his mastery. We wait with bated breath. Sorry, go ahead.
If you had seen the patch notes for the patch that's currently on PTR, one of the changes, that was a good attempt to arrow before you could pull, but
I feed with a good sidestep, and he finishes the Shuriken Mastery. He is now a master of the Steel Star. Mockery does get caught, a great jump over the wall. Here comes a Blessed Shield, and the Light Bomb will come down as well. Oh, an excellent cocoon means the Light Bomb does not come through. Mockery has 150 health, but for the moment he is still alive, and he will get away. Brainer's going to take a ton of damage, and the flashlight kills him. Turns out he shouldn't be afraid of the dark, he should be afraid of the light. The flashlight.
So now the red team, BoomerGaming, has their chance to get a Dragon Knight. We'll see if this goes through or not.
Eric looking to create some problems here, but what?
Oh my goodness!
And once again, Mockery manages to kill Johanna in the Tri-Brush. I don't know how I keep missing this, but it keeps happening. Oh my goodness, I'm not streaming the game, I'm streaming the BO3 Oh no, I am. My stream thing is being dumb.
Okay, so it looks like we'll get control of both shrines, or Yrel will die. I'm not sure which.
Great tongue by Shredded Wind. The most consistent member of the team delivers once again. And that is 3 deaths. Yrel, Greymane, and again, it just kind of seems like, I don't know if they feel bad because they didn't forfeit, but it's almost like they're not trying to win. They're really making some big mistakes here.
Yeah, they're making mistakes, but I do think that the blue team is playing a little bit better. I think Brainer's being a little more controlled. He's been getting some great cocoons in there.
Absolutely, and I'm not trying to accuse anyone of throwing for sure. It's a big tease, and I should be careful as a caster. I don't actually think they're not trying to win, but the pressure they're facing from Can't Connect stuns right now is so big that they're forcing mistakes we just weren't seeing or not to the same degree in game number 1. And you're right.
So
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it looks like the top fort is going to go down to minion pressure. Yep, there it goes.
Genji is an excellent choice for this Dragon Knight as well, as soon as it goes down, there's that little explosion that keeps you safe, and then he can just E away or use X-Strike.
Yep.
So they're looking to catch him here. They're going to try and use the Condemn, but again, the explosion saves you, and there is the Dragon's Arrow. They're coming in. The X-Strike will come down. Bagatron is incredibly low.
Wow.
Junkrat goes down. Bagatron goes down. They're looking to kill Chronicler and iFeed as well. iFeed does not get caught by the tongue there, but Chronicler is in a very rough spot. She uses the Righteous Hammer, but Eric is all up in her business. But for the moment, they are going to leave her alone as they attempt to take the keep, and they will be able to. And they are a full level and a half ahead. It looks like they want to end. This could be very risky. There's 20 seconds, and I do think the characters who are still there can delay this for 20 seconds.
Yep.
Slick is taking a lot of damage. The Cursed Bullet come out. Brainer takes a ton of damage. And Slick also taking a ton of damage. Chronicler is also getting low. Slick just trying to keep himself safe now. Eric also trying to make sure he gets out alive. That Cursed Bullet is up in another 15 seconds. And the Blessed Shield will be up now. So it is a good thing they chose to disengage. That could have been a 5 for nothing. So no damage on core. Not permanent anyway. The shields took a little bit, but... And again, really good call here. Back off, take a breath. Don't have to have regret. So now they have 20s. We got the Change is Survival. Brita Haka, Rewind for Noob. Living Weapon for Genji. Bullseye for Hanzo. And Farseer's Blessing for the Rhaegar, which is incredibly powerful. And a double...
Uh-oh, Dahaka, look out. Top lane, look out, Dahaka. Oh, no.
Kalavov coming around. They are going to be able to put a lot of damage here. The Blessed Shield misses again, and Kalavov's really been having trouble with that, but it doesn't. The adaptability keeps him alive. That's incredible as the Farseer's Blessing comes in as well. iFeed forced to be pulled out as the no trust button is once again hammered by Bagatron perfectly.
Wow,
what an absolutely fantastic use of adaptability there.
Well, plus the Ancestral was absolutely clutch.
It looks like Mockery will get the Dragon Knight again.
Hey.
There are 2 camps pushing directly onto the core, and Dragon Knight has gone over, and this time it is the older Shimada who will control that dragon is not, that beast is not my beloved. Here comes the boot. Goodbye, Australian. Got your bloody mayhem yet? Out will come... No, that's not the Blessed Shield, just a big stun. The Impale will come out also, and there is the kick onto Kalavov. Knocked into Cancun. Hope she enjoys her Caribbean vacation. Or Mexican vacation, that would be. Mockery does get out, is able to jump if he needs to, but the cocoon is on Johanna, meaning there will not be follow-up. 20s are here for BoomerGaming as well. Here comes the Dragon's Arrow. Big stun. The X-Strike will come out as well, but it just misses. Out comes the Shield of Hope. No, it's not called that. It's called the Blinded by the Light for Johanna. A ton of damage goes on Australia. Once again, adaptability will bring him back to full. Eric is very low, and Chronicler is attempting to save them. Out comes the Ardent Defender, and she will live for now, and the lack of trust button is once again spammed. But once again, they want to try to end the game here. As we see Hunter's Blunderbuss for Greymane, Seraphim, the Unstoppable for Urel is a huge power spike for her. The Blinded by the Light Shield was used by Johanna here. We've got Cannonball and Censure. And for the second time this game, Can't Connect Stuns is pushed away from the core without putting any damage on it.
Yeah, it's a little risky with just one hero dead and all of their defensive heroes available. At this point, you just can't risk getting a wipe, because even though they still have all their forts, it wouldn't take much to just go run it down. So.
Once again, they will look to steal their opponent's Siege Giants, creating pressure on the map. There's only 1 keep left, and so far, despite the top fort only being at 941 hit points, none of the buildings on the side of Can't Connect Stuns have yet gone down. The Bruiser
and what that means is you don't have catapult pressure in any lane, which is a very big deal for Can't Connect Stuns.
And they're not.
They won't have to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're not the team with the global, meaning that they have to rotate to deal with that pressure because you don't want to leave anyone alone. Once again, Calavo found alone in the Tribrush. This time manages to not get caught by Shredded Wind. It looks like a 5v5, but the members of CCS are very split here. That would have been a good situation. Out comes everything. A ton of stuns onto Brainer. He looks like he'll down, but no, the bird charge is out for now. He's alive. Baggeron takes a ton of damage. Genji comes back. He blows up the lean Australian, and they have Calavoth cocooned. Anduin will go down to Mockery. iFeed is incredibly low. Eric looking to finish him off, but he gets caught instead by the... No, not caught by the trap, just caught by opponents, but it's still a 3-for-1, and it looks like they're going to try once again to go for the Dragon Knight to finish this game.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Genji, which, if you had to lose somebody at this point, Genji is probably the safest one to lose.
Yeah, Genji or Dahaka, because Dahaka can come back the soonest with Dig. But yes, this is going to be difficult. They have a siege camp pushing into their top keep, but a Game 3 Calamancy, that is what we're all hoping for. They are coming in here. Now, iFeed can blow up Brainer if Brainer is not careful. We don't need to see those talents anymore. Let's see the game in all its glory. Tries to kick...
We don't have heroics yet for the blue team, so they do have to play this little... Oh no, that core is going down way too fast. Yeah, that's good.
A 19-minute Dragon Knight does not have to worry about what's going on. We're going to see game number 3 between Can't Connect Stuns, although they did frequently, and Boomer Gaming. What a brilliant game number 2.
Overwatch difference.
Yes, this time it looked like the Overwatch brothers were prepared to hang out with one another. Absolutely splendidly done. No deaths on Mockery's Hanzo, and that they might have to think about banning that as well. It's not just his Tracer that's strong.
Yeah, he definitely played that flawlessly. He had some fantastic Dragon Arrows. And it's subtle, but Bullseye will stun heroes for 1 second, so that can be the difference in a lot of matches. Plus, he did take the percent damage at 16, so
Slayer,
definitely that was doing some good things there.
Incredibly done. We have a game number 3 coming. If you like talents, a lot of really standard builds here. So if that interests you, feel free to pause it if it's on VOD. But we are going to hit the BO3 button because each team that has picked a map has then lost that map. So first pick, we see why both teams have prioritized it. They've both won when they've first picked.
So, let's see what they decide to do this time. I do actually expect BoomerGaming to go with the first pick. If that does happen, it'd be interesting to see what map Can't Connect Stunts takes us to. I think they're doing really well on maps with a global presence with the Dahaka. I think having the double Shimada on that map worked out really, really well for them. And the Rhaegar was making some very clutch plays with those Ancestrals. I think that was absolutely fantastic there. So yeah.
Absolutely, and one does wonder what bans they might try to go for, or if they might try to take that Hanzo away from Mockery. Honestly, he kind of carried there. We're getting one of my favorite maps, and we never see it in NGS.
Right.
We are going to Cursed Hollow.
Well, let's see what we see for picks here, because this map, the heroes that we've seen played so far, the Dahaka is obviously still a priority pick because he's just fantastic on this map. Brightwing can also be very, very strong. I don't think you'll see the Genji again. I could be wrong, but you definitely have more of an emphasis on wave clear on this map, as well as camps. The Falstad will probably either make a reappearance, either getting selected or banned. He's just too strong on pretty much everything on this map. He's a global, he has Gust, he has Wind Tunnel. There's nothing not to like about a Falstad here. I think
you can sometimes see heroes that don't get played as much. Zeratul can be good on this map. Dahaka is crazy good on this map with all the bushes and the choke points. And yeah, things that are better with a global, like I don't want to say global. Vikings can be really good on this kind of map. Chromie can be really good. Like things that can delay tribute captures, also very, very strong.
I think we can let them know that we're ready. I'm ready at least. I was born ready. So speaking of stalling and delaying, if you have looked at the PTR patch notes, one of the talents that they've changed was at level 20, they give Anna the ability to recharge her Eye of Horus, and she doesn't have to use, I think it's 6 shots all at once. She could use one, do something else, use one, do something else. So is Anna going to become the ultimate stallbot on Cursed Hollow?
Heaven help me, I hope not. I love playing into bad Annas. I hate playing into good Annas. I spend more time asleep into good Annas than I do in my actual life.
Yeah. For me, it's Brightwing because I play a frontliner. I spend half the game as a squirrel. I'm going in, I'm a squirrel. I'm leaving, I'm a squirrel. So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how they change things up for this. Some heroes that we have seen that are good are the Muradin, obviously hopping over walls and lots of places to ambush from. Diablo is good, lots of narrow places where you have to fight, where both the Lightning Breath as well as the APOC can get a lot of value. As we noted, globals are very good on this. This could be fun. I would love to see something outrageous like a Vikings or a Murky or something like that, but we may end up having to hope.
You're just
So
hoping for Artanis. You're hoping for Artanis, and we know it.
Not on this map. If anyone picks Artanis on this map, they're ranged. Oh, look,
Tracer banned first, so it will not be the Lucio band this time. There's a lot of walls on this map. He's not necessarily bad here.
Well, plus it's a map where you want to have fast rotations, and he definitely enables that.
But it looks like Shredded Wind is the offlaner tonight, and Slick Rub is the healer, so it could be that they're just not going to worry about Shredded Wind's healer pool at the moment. They're not planning on playing the Hoku, so it will be banned this time because first pick will go over to BoomerGaming.
Well, they might have been wanting to play it, but if you don't have first pick, you kind of have to ban it here.
Absolutely. A marvelous pick here.
He's just so good, not only with his global, but if you take race car build, there's so many bushes, you can just rotate super fast by the late game.
Yeah, if you get to late game, Apex Predator is one of the most broken level 20s in the game. You can just go everywhere really quickly. It will be a Lucio ban again. They just switched it up this time to see if we'd talk about it. We did. They got me. They got me.
So do we have a hammer ban is the question.
I don't know if that hammer is that strong here, just in the sense that she's so easy to catch into a wall. I would almost wonder if they want to either pick or ban Diablo because he's very strong. The Falstad ban makes sense. They want to limit the global opportunities for BoomerGaming.
Well, plus they played the Falstad really well in the first game, and Falstad on this map is just a menace because there are 2 bosses to fight over, and if you hit level 20, 2 bosses are just always going to be in favor of the red team. There's nothing you can do about it.
Now, this is a map where we sometimes also see things like Abathur because of his pseudo-global presence and how far away the lanes are.
This is true.
They will pick the Hanzo away. Dope Monster does have a really good hero pool, and they do not want to see Mockery playing that again.
He definitely had a lot of impact that second game.
Now, there's only 2 picks before the second ban phase here for CCS, so they're going to have to choose which 2 heroes are most important to what they want to run, or which 2 heroes will fit in anything. They picked the hammer this time. I'm not going to lie to you. I know Mockery's a fantastic player. I think Hammer's a mistake on this map. There's just too many places to get caught in. I think it can work well, but I'm worried for him.
You could also do the I'm going to ignore everybody hammer and just run it down top lane while everybody's fighting over the objective in the bottom lane.
It's true. Now, Blaze is a good protect the hammer character. We will see Stukov and Johanna. Oh, I hate Stukov, and I hate him especially on the map. So many choke points, so many tight areas, and E-Bagatron has shown himself so well on so many healers that I am scared of his Stukov. But we will now see the final ban coming out for Can't Connect Stuns. Also, Calavolts on Johanna. There's no Tri-Brush here, so we shouldn't die a bunch. The end.
Well, I think it's more that we don't have a Dahaka licking you every 5 seconds. Yep, Junkrat ban is safe.
You can't allow Junkrat and Stukov in the same game with choke points. That's asking your enemy team, please, we're just going to line up and you kill us.
Let's see what else we ban here. They still need a healer. They still need a tank. They still need a flex damage.
Some of the most important parts of their team, but they do get the next 2 picks, so they want to make sure that even if they want something, that it's not going to be something that can be stolen away, and the Ariel will be taken away. A good choice. Hammer likes sustained fights, and Ariel loves them too, so.
Oriel can stay in a fight indefinitely, especially with a good battery.
But I do think Hammer likes heroes who have a cleanse, so I do think we'll see. I was going to say Rhaegar or something like, and we see the Rhaegar. Slickrob Rhaegar was fairly aggressive last game, but he also didn't find himself in trouble too often. And the Tyrael, it is going to be Protect the Hammer comp. I'm a little scared of Brainer being too aggressive at Tyrael. Tyrael is not a forgiving tank if you've used your Q to go in.
Hear me out on this. I want to see Eric pick Morales, and I want to see a Juice Pirates. Let's go.
I don't think Blaze contributes to Juice Pirates, but I'm with you. That would be funny to see.
Well, I mean, because he can.
I think Stukov totally screws over Juice Pirates, though.
Bloodlust. Oh, there's the Hogger.
And Tychus. Yeah.
Interesting.
This looks like an incredibly strong composition. Like, no lie, this is a standard, some of the best heroes in the game composition from Boomer, and I think they're ready to play it. Both these teams know this is the last, throw everything you've got at the wall. But hey, I gotta give CCS credit. We asked for some neat picks, and they have delivered.
Well, I think both teams have delivered some fun stuff tonight. Let's see what we get. Boring.
And I do think there is kind of a quiet value to Ming that doesn't get talked about a lot. Stukov has to sit still to use his puddle, especially in the early levels. And if you can catch him just as he's reaching down to stick his little octopus hentai monster into the ground, you can blow him up with a Ming later in the game.
Yeah.
But that is the final draft of this series. Let's go.
So, one thing that's interesting is the blue team is all in on artillery poke. They have the great sustained damage from the hammer, and then the finishing power from the Ming. And they're both very far back heroes, where Tychus doesn't do very far back very well. So it'll be interesting to see if they do put their focus on I-Feed, or if I-Feed chooses to do something else. Oh, mockery.
In the blue, in this final game, we have Can't Connect, Stuns, Mockery is on the Sergeant Hammer, looking like a cool car. We got Shredded Wind on the Blaze. Slickrub has brought Rhaegar. Eric is on the Li Ming, and we've got Brainer bringing Tyrael.
And for the red team, BoomerGaming, we have IV playing the Tychus, Chronicler on the Hogger, Ebagatron on the Stukov, Kalavoth on the Johanna, and Dope Monster playing Hanzo.
Hey, it's a me, Hanzo. Chronicler takes a lot of damage. They go to cheese this top lane, and it's Kalavoth looking to blind Mockery in the bottom lane. Now we do see Adrenaline Stim Pack for our Blaze, Advanced Artillery, pretty much the only level 1 for a serious hammer. We've got Justice for All, including the shields given by Tyrael, which again makes sense in a Protect the Hammer comp, Aether Walker, and Feral Heart for our Rhaegar once again. So this seems to be a Slick Rub special. That sounds gross, but that's not what I mean.
So now we have the skirmish kind of going back to more normal patterns here. We've got a 1-3-1 for both teams, although Johanna's coming up to make it a 4 in the middle, just kind of ignoring the hammer, and Hammer says, yes, please ignore me. I love it when people ignore me.
Mockery. Oh, he goes to put his little friends, his spider mines in there, which does keep him safe, thankfully, but that could have been bad. We do see the quarterback from Tychus, which does give him a bit of an answer, especially with the level 7 damage over time on the grenade.
Shredded Wind! Oh my goodness, my friend. You had 50 HP.
He wasn't worried. That's 49 more than he needed. And so we've got the quarterback. We've got On the Prowl, the pretty ordinary trait-based ability for Hogger. It's very, very strong. We have the Low Blow for Stukov, the Zealous Glare Flashlight build, which makes sense into an auto attacker like Hammer, and Simple Geometry from our Hanzo. So looking to get those scatter arrow stacks. But now, CCS has captured their Bruiser. That's something that Hogger and Ebagatron are currently doing, capturing their own. And Li Ming and Regart taking their siege camp, which has not yet been
It's a little early for that siege camp top. The first objective is bottom, and ideally you want to send that top siege camp out right before the bottom objective spawns. That way the enemy team has to split their focus. They can either let the siege giants have top, or they can let the enemy team have the first objective.
Calivold is the only one left here to clear this Bruiser camp, and Slickrub and Eric seem to know that. They're going to come in and look to kill the enemy's camp and just use this spell armor to get some aggression in. But it does go down quickly enough, and
Oh, big fight top lane. Chronicler is taken down by the most consistent player in the game.
why does Shredded Wind play healer? He's a top-tier offlaner. Just excellent play here by Shredded Wind. We do see Master Assassin here for the Tychus. 7 stacks so far on the simple geometry. Brainer looking at this, but Feed can just use a grenade. Brainer scouts it out with Eldrin's Might. I like to see heroes hit by Eldrin's might heal Tyrael. Anyway. Just a little silly one. So 7s are in earlier for the members of CCS. Kalavoth is mid, but is rotating towards here, but is very, very low on mana. Dope Monster will hit the arrow, but Kalavoth will now be delaying, will be stalling with that flashlight.
Tyrael's like, please, I just want to click things. Stop hitting me.
What are you guys, the darn evils? Like, knock it off. I just got the sword back in Diablo 3. But, and this is one of the things you can do on this map, is if, oh, the flashlight misses, and they will get that first cap. Kalavoth missed by just a feather of the wing of Tyrael's thickness. Just barely misses that flashlight. And so the capture will go over, and they will go back to the ordinary clearing of lanes. A lot of experience missed in the mid lane, but it hasn't really seemed to hurt the members of CCS too much.
Yeah, it looks like we are dead even on experience here.
We can even have a look. How close are they? They're within 100 experience of each other. Control 4 is the command for that, if you're not looking at the same screen I am.
Pretty much dead even.
Yeah. 18,400 to 18,300. It's pretty much bang on. Within less than 1%. They are jumping on the hammer here, though, and Mockery will get hit by the tentacle monster and murderized. But it looks like they're going to try and do the same. Shredded Wind is baiting in Chronicler. Brainer looking to take him down with Eric and Shredded Wind. There is the Blaze Stun, the Jet Propulsion. They will catch Chronicler, so it will be a 1-for-1. But Brainer takes a lot of damage from that top fort, and it looks like they might just give over the tribute and try to get a ton of damage on the structure.
That makes sense. It's just the first tribute. It's nothing worth dying over at this point, whereas building damage is permanent.
Well, that and the tribute was on their opponent's side anyway, which is something you often give over. We're going to have to go to the best of 3 screen, as these teams do not like finish a game that doesn't have a pause in it. But this time it is Shredded Wind with the pause, so we'll have to see. I don't see a disconnect anywhere. The team's just saying something.
It says Mockery's mouse is being iffy.
Suboptimal. Yes. I spilled soda on my laptop.
Oh dear. Or it might be Brainer spilling soda on their laptop.
I don't know who's serious now and who's just, you know, messing around. These
I
guys
can't
love
tell
the
with
fun.
these two teams either.
Yeah, they're really having a good time. So
let's see here. We do have a teleport build from Ming. I absolutely adore teleport. We do not see the orb build. So she is going for kills and not for stalls.
And I do wonder if we're going to see BFG as opposed to Napalm here, because I don't think this is meant to be a nothing but split push. And BFG is normally what you see hammers take when they want to just kill other teams. But the early even without 10s, the early boss goes over. That was a brave call, but it really worked out here for the members of Boomer Gaming, as the boss is going to charge for that top lane, and it looks like, at least for the moment, Shredded Wind is going to be forced to deal with that alone.
We do have the napalm. We do also have my favorite talent of the game, Massive Shove. That talent is so much fun.
Have you seen the highlight yet where the hook into Massive Shove happens? That was right. Here
Yes,
comes
I
the
was
Dragon's
thinking that.
Arrow. So much damage, and the Ancestral Healing can't come out in time. Rhaegar is dead, and they're looking to take the boss here. And Boomer Gaming are not messing around. They're going for this double boss play, and they want to get kills. Although the Napalm Strike is coming out as well. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying that Massive Shove is your favorite talent.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so they do pull away from the boss. Fair enough. Blaze has cleared the boss top.
I think this re-engage might be very risky.
Yeah.
Rhaegar is coming back, however, this boss has fully leashed and is back at full health. Tychus gets killed by Tyrael.
It goes down.
A lot of damage onto Kelevos Johanna. Out will come the Silency Puddle. Ebagatron forced to back away. However, Eric is taking it. There's no one here to stall it. So the second tributes will go up 2-1. Ebagatron is surrounded. Stukov does not like being surrounded. Russian Zergs are really against the whole being surrounded thing. And, you know...
Puddle this, man. Puddle this.
I can't believe I died. Brainer and Eric looking to take this boss now.
So now they can take a boss. The top boss was cleared, half damage to the fort, which isn't bad though, because the top fort on the red side is almost dead.
Going through the alts clearly, we have Bunker Drop for Blaze, Napalm Strike for Hammer, Sanctification, which should really help delay fights in their favor from the Tyrael, Wave of Force from Li Ming, and Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar. Whereas for Boomer Gaming, we've got Commandeer Odin from Tychus, which goes with the Master Assassin. We've got Hortapult from Hogger, Massive Shove from Stukov, Blessed Shield from Johanna, and the Dragon's Arrow that we've already seen. Now the boss is here to help them. Hortapult, the Dragon's Arrow will come out. They get so much damage on Hammer, she's dead immediately, and Rhaegar will go down as well. The Sanctification comes out, but it's late. Eric now looking to get away from iFeed as Blaze is coming in late as well. Brainer's trying to use Eldrin's Might to get away, and no, he is unable to, so he comes back with his traits. And you know what? When Tyraels don't use their trait, they're trolling. So, obviously...
But it's only the second tribute, so it's not an all is lost, and they did get 2 forts out of that whole thing. So
absolutely. They're still pretty close to even. There is a slight lead now for Boomer Gaming, but the building advantage is theirs. The wave advantage is currently theirs. They just have to be careful not to give away more heroes than they can afford to by stepping up too far, because Mockery and Slickrub being together to get caught there was extremely detrimental to their momentum.
So now they're looking to put a little pressure on the bottom lane. They've got the Siege Giants down there. But Can't Connect Stun should be able to answer.
They will pop the Odin
They
here.
want that building.
Oh, they're in a rough spot. It's going to be 3 versus everyone. The hop is from Dope Monster, but they actually want Ebagatron. The Massive Shove will push Eric, but now iFeed is all alone. He's taking a ton of damage. The Blessed Shield will come out, but they just can't save Tychus, but Eric will go down as well. Now Kelv, the Dragon's Ear will come out. It's just going to miss, and it's going to go over, and it's going to hit some poor Garden Terror player who never saw it coming. Now Hogger is going to collect the tribute here and get the curse for his team, but a 3 for 1 means they're not going to have much opportunity to actually benefit from this curse. Although the Siege Giants in the bottom are going to get some value.
No, I mean Rhaegar's there. Rhaegar
Top will go down to this wave, and Chronicler is going to help it go down.
Okay.
But in the middle, we are seeing a siege from Mockery, Shredded Wind, and Brainer.
Yep.
Just
protect the hammer. Yep. And they have the spell aura, which so they can use to get a little more damage there. They should back off now.
Mockery doesn't know the meaning of the word. He should buy a dictionary. Another wave is pushing right into the bottom here. We might be equal on forts before you know it, because the curse is still up for 22 more seconds. And I'm not... Can Blaze stop this in time? He pops the Adrenaline Stim Pack, yes, with 1,000 hit points left to go. But they do catch Rhaegar, and they almost catch Brainer, but he has 600 health as he taps in. They're looking to finish off this mid fort as everyone is back alive. So that will put them nearly even on buildings. As the siege camp pokes away as this gate is going down, it looks like a fight. They want to start a fight mid while Rhaegar is still dead. The puddle, silence puddle, will come out, making life difficult. And the siege characters are just shooting each other, because why would you not do that? Siege tank versus Odin. Who wins? Honestly, probably Odin. Depends how many of each of them there are. If you play StarCraft.
Yes.
Chronicler's taking a lot of damage. He's down to 100. He will still go down. The wave of force will kill the Hogger. Now Celevold attempting to walk away, but even without their healer, they are so dangerous. The Silence Puddle will come out. They don't need this. They don't care about Silence Puddle. The resets for Eric, although he does almost go down. And there is the grenade. It is a 2-4-1. Shredded Wind forced to use jet propulsion to get out of there, as Mockery also forced to use thrusters to get out of there. The healer is back, but it looks like they want to engage or at least bait this boss. No, they're not baiting it. They're going for it.
They do have Holy Ground, they do have Sanctification, and they do have Bunker, so...
They don't have Ancestral, which is important to know,
well,
but they also have Wave of Force. Wait, no they don't.
But
She's dead.
there's 2 dead on the enemy team, so...
I think they're just going to try and poke here. I'm not sure they actually try to come in here. Their Silence Puddle will come down, but it will still be collected. A lot of damage is going on to Shredder Wind. Out comes the Dragon Arrow. It'll hit 2, but it'll hit the most healthy 2. And Ancestral is back up. Now Bunker will go down. Ancestral Healing will come out on Slick Rub. And there goes Mockery. The Sanctification will keep them safer now, even with the trash pile that was thrown out by that filthy, filthy Knoll. I'm not sure he raised this. He just looks unclean.
Excellent timing, because they have to clear the boss, which means they get the 3rd curse essentially for free.
Good Iron Sting used there by Celevold, almost getting hit by the jet propulsion from Shredded Wind as they attempt to force her away in this mid lane from rotating towards this capture.
Yep.
They look like they want to take their own boss as well, and they will be able to. It's going down super fast.
Yep, that's a hammer for you.
So Celevold is able to move in. This hammer is, or the boss is taken, and it will be going straight towards core. The flashlight will come out, as will these flying hammers from the Blessed Hammer ability at 13. Both teams are 16. In fact, both teams are 18. The Odin will come out, so this will force them to pause. But this actually works out. Although they do catch onto the Rhaegar, he will go down, and that is the end of Slick Rub. Up a little too far.
Yep.
There is the stun onto... There's the shields coming out. Now a great Condemn Mockery will go down as well. And... there goes Shredded Wind as well. The most consistent player is now the most consistent corpse.
Yeah, they should not have been in that.
They did overstay. Eric looking to give the occasional, oh, that was cheeky. Right over and hits Bagatron. But they're going to look to catch Tyrell here, and their mid-fort will go down. But the boss is actually on the bottom keep, and it has totally destroyed the gate there. Bagatron does chase Eric away, which allows Chronicler to capture, although that will still just be their first one. This boss is now working on bottom keep, while the siege camp had been working on mid fort. So this is not by any means some huge win for BoomerGaming. In fact, it's just an opportunity to stay in the game for now.
Yeah, I think by taking the boss in the camp, they lost their opportunity to get the curse. I don't hate it, but I can't say I love it, because you can see that the next curse is in a much less friendly position for them.
So boss goes down, mid-keep, or camps go down, and the Bruiser camp is being collected now by BoomerGaming, and they have just hit 20. Eric is way too far up for a team that does not have 20. Celevold, here comes the Dragon's Arrow. It will hit. It does a ton of damage, and that is the end of Eric. A 60-second death timer because he just did not respect the 20s. So we see big red button come out. Bio explosion switch for Stukov. Blinded by the light on Johanna. Bullseye for Hanzo, and we don't yet know on Hogger.
Okay, so it looks like they're going to try to go and finish off mid-keep, which makes sense. They have the Bruiser camp with them. They have the Odin, the level 20 Odin.
Out comes Blessed Shield. They're going to try and finish off There's the purge, but he has to go through the puddle. Out comes Ancestral Healing. It just saves Brainer in time. Big red button is popped. So is this low blow puddle as they take the gate here. But there is a camp pushing towards top, and Hogger is forced to back to deal with it. So it is a 4 versus 4 in the mid lane as the big red button is proc. Now 20s are out for both sides. We have Fortified Bunker, Ultra Capacitors, Holy Arena.
Yep.
We've got Repulsion and Far Seer's Blessing. So with both these teams even and the next tribute spawning and every hero alive, this is for all the marbles, Hoku.
Well, the big problem is, though, is 63 seconds still on Ancestral. So they don't have that
50 seconds left on the Odin means that Tychus does not have the long range that lets him deal with the Li Ming or the Hammer, however. Kalawath does get caught out here, and Stukov is quite far away. Here comes the hammer, though. It will go immediately. Oh, the Unstoppable comes out, meaning the Blessed Shield fails. Out comes the Sanctification, and they're all still at high health. They're looking. The bunker is out as well. Shredded Wind is taking a lot of damage from those scatter arrows as Chronicler bumps him to a wall. It will... No, he doesn't go down. Big heals from the Rhaegar, but Slick Rub is incredibly low. The no control is coming out, but Kelavoth will go down to Eric, looking to use the cooldowns to kill Chronicler, but in the north, they're giving up this point.
But they're
Hogger.
not.
Hogger will get away, but it is now a 4v3 in this top lane. Slick Rub looking to capture. Now Odin is back up, and in 5 seconds, so will be Ancestral Healing. It is the tank down compared to the offlaner, so I do think this is somewhat more beneficial in a 5v5 team fight for the members of CCS. Lots of damage onto iFeed there from the missiles. Big red button goes down. iFeed is down to 200 health. Eric tries to finish him the way before he has 30 hit points. He somehow lives. But they are forced away. They are forced away, and the curse. No, don't go for boss. Don't go for boss. Don't go for... This is not optimal.
Well, I mean, it's not horrible. Their lanes are pushed far back, so they wouldn't get a ton of siege onto the buildings as it is, because all of the other heroes...
Oh, that's a big stun arrow, and Rhaegar will go down. They do collect the boss, but all 5 members are here. Out comes the silencing puddle. The damage is coming out from Mockery, and he does have regenerative biosteel, which means he heals the more he pews away. There is, however, this camp in the bottom that's destroying the bottom keep of CCS as they look to take this mid fort.
Well, I think the camp's going to go down to this wave, so...
Jet Propulsion will miss, and that's the end of the middle. Fort in the top. They're trying to stop this giant from killing their keep that can't fight back. And in the mid, CCS is sieging up on the middle keep as well. We do have every ultimate available now on the side of CCS, to almost none of them left on the side of, not CCS, BoomerGaming. I can remember things. The boss,
but they don't have their Rhaegar, so they have to leave.
The boss will go down before it can kill the keep, but it's at half health. The bottom keep is at about 2/3, and the mid keep is at about 85%, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't.
Rhaegar will be back in 2 seconds. I do think they're rotating to try and get boss here. I do think BoomerGaming wants to fight over the boss.
Well, I think they want to catch him in the corridor, not on the boss, but in that corridor, because that's where Hanzo is the strongest.
Here comes the Dragon Arrow. It will catch Slick Rub, but they do want to kill. The Silence Puddle does go out, and the Ancestral cannot save him in time. Bunker does go down, and that is the full 15 kills. The Unstoppable comes out from Hogger, and they kill Blaze as well.
That's exactly where they wanted to fight. That's where they are the strongest, in those really tiny corridors like that. And now they can just take the boss and waltz in bottom lane and end the game.
Yes, it is a 3v5. They do have the 1-level lead, giving them a 4% scaling advantage.
You can see that Teriel's looking to do the Holy Ground Sank play to see if they can do a cheeky boss steal. I don't know if it'll be effective.
He is able to drop it onto the point, but they are being patient
Johanna
here.
does have her Iron
There it is. There's the
Sank.
There is the Holy Ground, but it doesn't last long enough. He's trying to get back on the point. Eric is trying to jump in and get a kill, but he is the one murdered as Brainer is forced to get out. Mockery also has to go out. There's 20 seconds left before they have Rhaegar and Blaze, but it'll be 55 before they have their Li Ming. And it looks...
I think this is game.
The siege is coming out. Commander Odin has returned, and all the ultimates. The Dragons here will come back, but they have just missed. Eric calling, wait, guys, don't end. I gotta silence that. A big stun there, though. It is a 5-4. Out comes the Farseer's Blessing Ancestral. Shredded Wind will stay at full health. Big red button just misses Mockery. IFE is taking a lot of damage. Another big stun there, but the boss is slamming away at this core. Slickrup doing what he can to defend it, but Shredded Wind is blown away. Brainerd doing everything he can, but it looks like after a great game 2, it looks like CCS might not be able to make the final calls to defend here in game number 3. The core is at 20. The core is at 6. The core is down. Game number 3, after some fantastic plays from both teams, will go over to BoomerGaming.
Wow, that was a fun set. A very, very fun set there. I think if they had just been a little more careful about going into those choke points, they would have done better. But Slick Rub just kept running in there and getting caught out, which was unfortunate. But fantastic game all around, though.
Yep, we see the extra kills here, and it was the end game. It's not so much how many kills you get, but when you get them, and they caught the kills at the perfect time. And they knew the pressure points to hit on a Protect the Hammer comp. So, again, it looks like mostly fairly standard here on our compositions. I don't really often see Tyrael played, but if you're curious, feel free to pause the video. I've asked the winning team if they'd like to send somebody to do an interview with us.
All right. Yeah, no, most of that's pretty standard Tyrael. He does have a little bit of build diversity, but that's not unsurprising. Tyrael picks, as well as the Blaze picks, those are fairly standard.
So, we will not be getting an interview. They are too shy. But thank you so much. I think a number of the people from this team followed, and from the other team. An absolutely splendid, splendid set. Now, when one team doesn't want to give an interview, I will sometimes ask the other team. So let me actually ask Shredded if he wants to. I know that's a little bit on the silly side, but sometimes if one team doesn't want to talk, the other one does. And they have really, most of the time, especially in a close series like this, just a story to tell.
Sounds like fun.
But I had an absolute blast with this series. And, NGS Discord. Let's pop into the NGS Discord here, Raka, and see if we can find some cool people to chat with.
Alrighty, see you there.
Mockery, how's it going?
Awful. I am absolutely despondent after tonight's series.
I'm
actually going to uninstall the game after that one.
Because they took your Hanzo and played it just as well as you did, or?
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if anybody's that bad.
I think it's because he was forced to play Hammer. Most people would be despondent if they had to play Hammer.
Yeah, I don't... Let's see here. Oh, can you guys pull Brainer in? He's one voice channel above us. That was the balsa wood sheet of paper that kept getting torn in half that was pretending to be our tank player.
Oh, that's what I walk into. Excellent. Good stuff.
Well, welcome to the we usually do the winner's interview. This is the second place interview now tonight. Is Brainer your guys' usual tank, or is he a sub?
He was a long time ago, and he had to step away because he doesn't like us very much, but he just came back tonight.
But who does?
I had to take a year off for mental health. Because
yeah.
dealing with them.
Yeah. It did seem in game number 1 that the Haka did get punished, or not that the Haka, the Diablo did get punished a little bit. And again, we're not trying to throw Brainer under the bus here, but they were really well prepared to deal with the Diablo at the end game there. But I thought once they put you on a tank with an escape button on the Nubrak, you guys looked really strong in game 2. What was the change from game 1 to game 2 where you guys went from having a hard time keeping up to being fairly dominant?
think
Mm.
honestly, I think it's a mix of one, I had a guaranteed escape, which I don't normally what the it's the short answer is I'm out of practice. The long answer is normally I have a really good rapport with Slick Rub, who's our healer, in that he knows my limits and he knows where I like to go. So normally I don't really have to worry about escaping because I know he'll be there to like keep me alive. And I don't think we had that very well in the first game. And then I think I was just like the whole reason I died to top lane towards the end of that game is because I honestly felt safe where I was standing. I just didn't understand my limit in that moment and then died. And then that ended up being what snowballed the end of the game. I don't know if Mocker has a different opinion on that.
I mean, that was like the last thing, but you know, it's everything throughout that game. Because for me, the big difference with game 2, like yeah, that play that he's talking about here definitely kind of sucked in the moment, but also like game 2, I was just like, oh, I'm finally not against this guy's Falstad. Thank the Lord, please, dude. I'm so tired of getting gusted into the immediate light bomb and everything. That was they really did a good job punishing my overextensions. You see, there was a big miscommunication about when this game would happen tonight, and so I haven't played HOTS in a couple days, and then I come in here, and while I'm rusty, I'm just getting like backline gusted light bombed, and I'm just so sad about it the whole game. So
You
that was
managed-
like a load off my shoulders game 2.
You managed to shake off the rust pretty well because your Hanzo did not die a single time in game number 2 and looked tremendous. Some really big dragon arrows, but then Dope Monster just has to copy you and hit some absolutely monster dragon
know.
arrows in game 3. What do you have to say to these kind of plagiarizers who take your hero and then do it just as good as you?
Well, see, here's the crazy thing about that I think is a bit of context you're missing, because I don't think you guys saw the draft chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but game 1 they locked the hammer and they message in the lobby chat. They're like, "Hey Mockery, I just got done watching your guide that you made about Sergeant Hammer." And so I'm like, "Oh, I have to fight a monster that I created," is what you're telling me?
A dope
So,
monster
yeah,
that
no,
you
it's-
created.
Like, you guys may have the victory tonight 2-1. I'm sure at least one of you jerks is watching, but you know, ultimately it was a poor imitation of me. We all know.
Well, and they were determined that you could never be happy. They really hated the idea of you getting to play Tracer.
Yeah.
Happy
Well, I mean,
months.
you know, credit to them though. They did their homework. They're clearly on the same page about this. I think Shredded was telling me that I think this was a team that we'd actually played against in like a big finals series before, for NGS A Div before, like the grand finals. So, you know, good for them to get that back. They, you know, hats off to them. Well done.
I've been casting a lot of their games recently, or today. I did 6 casts 'cause I'm an insane person, and 2 of them ended up being their games. And they've looked really crisp, really clean the last couple games of their season. Like, they've looked excellent. And, you know, we saw you guys looked a little bit lower on the standings, and we were like, oh, we hope this isn't kind of a stomp. But you guys made all 3 of these games super close. It was such a blast to watch from our perspective. I mean, all goofing aside, did you guys have a good time playing in games where it was so close the whole time?
Always. It's always good to play, especially when it's always more challenging, I think, to win game 1 and then lose game 2. So it felt better for us losing game 1 and then winning game 2.
Yeah, we had the
Because
inertia on our side.
Having that feeling into game 3, especially like coming off the Anubrak, the Hanzo with 2 Dragon Knights, like that felt really good going into game 3. And obviously you want a 2-0 every series, but we definitely needed that first game to like realize where the rust was and kind of buff that out a little bit, and then it looked way better game 2. And then game 3 was the closest game. Like game 1 they won, and game 2 we won, and game 3 felt like a tie for a lot of the game. I mean,
Calling it a tie is the most copium thing I've ever heard in my life. I love it, dude.
it felt really good.
It did.
I knew that game wasn't going to do well once we cursed and we didn't get a keep. I was like, all right, this isn't looking the best for us.
So I have a question. Now explain it to me like I'm 5 years old and or a silver player. But what made first pick such a priority? I looked at the stats. Every team that picked a map lost that map, which meant first pick was impactful in these games. What is it that makes teams feel like first pick has to be theirs?
That's a mockery question.
I just don't want to pick the map, dude. Like, people are like, what map do you want to play on? And I'm like, dog, I've played so much HOTS in my life. I don't really care. As long as it's not one of the complete garbage 2-lane maps that should be cast into Mount Doom, never to be seen again. Long as it's not one of those, I'm chilling.
I do
I
love.
honestly,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I honestly think that with teams like this, where it kind of turns out that you have maybe not an obvious best player, but you have certain players with certain comfort picks that they just feel really good on. If you have that first pick and you can get your best player or your most comfortable player under their most comfortable champion, I think that goes a long way than knowing a map. I mean, everybody knows a map, but nobody can know a character. Everybody can have their certain styles on characters, and I think that goes a longer way than people think it does.
We've taken up a good chunk of your time. Before I throw it over to shoutouts, do you have any questions, Hoku?
Just have one question. On map number 3, uh, your pause, was it really Mockery's mouse, the soda on the keyboard, or just a respect pause, to kind of pay it back to all the pauses that iFeed had done in game 2?
We wanted to keep the rich tradition alive of making you guys fill time while nothing happens. But no, I literally, like, 5 minutes before our series last week, my previous mouse broke and I had to get this new one, and I'm still getting used to all the various settings and whatnot. So just mid-game, I unknowingly hit a button that, like, tripled my DPI, and I couldn't,
Oh,
I
no.
couldn't, like, move my mouse accurately at all. We figured it out real quick.
It's a shame it didn't triple its DPS. That would have been.
God.
That would have been really impactful to the series. I think
Yeah.
it would have come out in game 3.
I think, dude, really good job finding that button that triples your deaths, though.
That was Slick Rub in game 2. I'm gonna have a chatting with him about that.
You guys this was a tremendously fun series. I mean, having to vamp during the pauses after doing 6 other casts today, I kind of hate you now, but such is life.
True.
Who would you guys?
They earned our respect. Shout out to iFeed. I believe it was iFeed, unless it was somebody else who consisted with the sacrifice in game 2.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
actually, dude.
That was
no,
iFeed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was so
that was
fucking
legit.
sick, man. Full respect.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking it in game chat, kind of like no balls kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I told
He
him
went through it.
You
He
guys
went
could see
through
the
it.
all chat, right?
I could,
Yes,
but
you
I
can.
turned it off for stream, so I saw it here and
Oh.
there, but then I would turn it off. So, like, if you guys were chatting about something in a pause, I would look at it, but otherwise I had it off. But yeah, I saw
Yeah.
early on in game 2, you guys were like, no balls.
You won't.
And he walked right in. So, and props to you guys for letting it be a restart and not just an FF for them. I mean, if that's an FF and you guys win game 2, that's that's
I
a
don't
win for you
think-
guys. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. One, I don't think I liked having that opportunity to win a game straight up,
mhm,
and I don't think game 3 is as fun if we win on
on a forfeit.
a
Yeah.
on a whatever. And I mean, we didn't even, not that we would have done it, but we didn't rules check until after it was like, hey, let's go ahead and restart. Hey, let's go ahead and check the rules though, just in case next time. But officially, it's written in the rules that if you have a full DC, you either play with an AI or forfeit. So next time, but
Well, I won't
I-
tell the
it-
board of administrators if you don't.
it was way more fun. It was way more fun to do a flat restart.
Yeah,
That was a great
Well,
time.
the whole point of the
Gotta
game
get
is to
fun.
play it and to have fun. So yeah, I thought that was great. But I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't call my girlfriend soon. So who would you guys like to shout out before I call this stream a good one?
Who's our? Oh man, I forgot who our consistent shoutouts were. Is it Slick's mom or is it May's mom? I remember.
Jesus Christ. Hey, shout out to my boy Walter. He just turned 2 the other day. That's my dog, not a child. But he's just the happiest little guy on the planet. Love you, Walter.
Nice.
Yo, shout out to CCS for welcoming me back. They gave me the opportunity to come play because we had Mayneski wasn't able to make it tonight, and then they asked me, and I was available, and it felt good. It felt good to be back. I might come back full time, but we'll see.
Yeah, dude, Brainer's a beast, man. This dude's got to look out if we're at full power, bro.
I heard y'all talking about me though, Omster. I would peep into your cast in between games, and I heard when I picked Tyrael, you guys went, "Oh man, Brainer on Tyrael." I don't know if that's a good idea.
We mentioned in game number 2 that you were better on heroes that had an escape button. I'm like, man, if he uses Eldrain's Might to go in, there's no go out button. So yeah, we did flame the Brainer because you know, we saw his play style, and my comment after in game number 1 was it seems like he might be a little out of regular communication with the team. I wonder if that's just a slight miscommunication because he's a sub, or because they haven't practiced together a bunch yet.
Absolutely.
Wait, we didn't even tell them about the real miscommunication that happened game 3, where Shredded, our drafter, tells Eric, "Hey Eric, pick one of these 3 heroes," and then Eric locks Li Ming. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, the worst
That was not in the list.
Yeah, the worst miscommunication wasn't even me.
Yeah.
It was the full timer who picked the wrong character.
Guys,
what was his excuse? Oh, he's like, I was just clicking through. I'm like, why are you clicking through a character that wasn't listed?
I mean, I in Div E we once had a drafter who liked to wait till the very last second to tell you what to pick, and we had a very nervous tank player. And so he, at literally the last second, because he'd been telling him, I don't remember who'd been telling the draft, he goes, actually pick Diablo, with 2 seconds left to go, and this dude is flipping through heroes trying to get to Diablo and clicks Chen instead on Shrines after we lost game 1, and we were like, well, damn, I guess we lose game 2. This is it. We crushed them in game number 2. This dude was apparently the world's greatest Div E Chen, and we roasted him. So sometimes accidental picks are the jam, boys.
If we would have won that game, it would have been Eric that won it for us. But because we lost that game, it's Eric's fault.
Yeah, true.
That's the onus that he took upon himself.
Well, I mean, Shredded win too. I mean, I've seen him as healer before. I don't understand why. This dude is a monster offlaner. You need to yell at him, Mockery. Next time he's gonna pick a healer, be like, no, you pick Blazer to Hoku, you GTFO.
It's because of me. It's because I left.
Yeah, our role situations have been incredibly awkward, just with a bunch of people having to shift in and out of the roster over time.
But thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute blast watching that series. Hope you guys have a great night and enjoy the rest of your weekend, fellas.
Very same to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hoku.
I appreciate both of you. Shout out to you guys.
Thanks. So that is game number 30. That is this series. We finally have our winners. Excellent job there by CCS and by BoomerGaming. But that is the end of us. Like I said, gotta call the girlfriend. Thank you so much for joining me. It will be on Twitch for 7 days, and it will be up on YouTube afterward. Have yourselves a great night, and go enjoy some Heroes of the Storm.